Yo!
Welcome to 90 Day Fiancé Fridays on a Sunday.
Welcome everybody. It's Sunday, and this episode was a little crazy. I don't know where we're gonna start because we got a new cast member
hmm
that was introduced and went missing, all in the same episode. So like, there's a lot going on with this. So I don't even know where to start.
I guess let's start chronologically in the show.
Oh, who was first on the show?
So it was like Tiger Lily went to the bazaar in
Oh, okay.
Istanbul.
Yeah, so the Grand Bazaar scene with Tiger Lily and Adnan. So she wore, I think JLP called it knockoff red bottoms, is what
hmm
JLP called it. So she wore these in a big long fur coat, reminded me of Darcy. And she was hot and her feet hurt. And Adnan would not let her take off her coat because she was wearing something tight, which, he's actually asked her to dress a certain way since she's been in his country, and she's just ignored every
hmm
suggestion that he's made for her, which I think, she could have at least took his advice. But now she's complaining that she's burning up and she's sick of his double standards. But I want to talk about the fake Louis belt and the fake backpack, the
hmm
fake LV backpack that Adnan bought. So what are the thoughts here? Because remember, we were having this conversation of who paid for the wedding. So you saw the interview that Tiger Lily did the other day, right, where she said that Adnan owns 4 to 5 businesses and he paid for the wedding and he's like really really rich. Did you
hmm
see that interview?
No.
Oh shit, I have to send it to you. She did
hmm
that interview. I don't know who it was with. Maybe Entertainment Tonight. I can't
hmm
remember now. But do you believe any of this? Do you think that Adnan is a 22-year-old business owner who owns 4 to 5 businesses? She didn't elaborate what he does, what they're about, but she said that he is very very successful. You buying any of this? Because he was trying to
hmm
negotiate dollar Louis belt.
I mean, the only thing I would buy is if it was just a situation where it was like a family business where he's just like working for his dad or something, or like that's the only thing that seems plausible to me.
I don't see. He doesn't seem bright enough for me to have like multiple businesses. No offense,
hmm
but I could buy a model. Like if I was gonna buy anything, that's what I would buy from the situation. I don't think that he's like a genius, right? I don't think that he is a rocket science. I don't think he's gonna cure cancer. But like you said, if his father or someone in the family started a business and he just shows up there, I could totally see that.
Yeah, he doesn't strike. Yeah, he strikes me as a dopey guy. So he's on the same wavelength as Tiger Lily as far as intellect. So yeah, I don't think he's like some big shot. I don't think he's gonna become the next president of Jordan or whatever.
Right, right. I don't see that. I feel like, I think that they're both pretending to have a shit ton of money. Like I don't know who paid for the wedding. Like this
Mhm.
whole situation.
Well, but this is a random detour. But like when they're on the boat, the scene on the boat where he was like, what did he say? He was quoted as saying like, "Baby, your mind is so small." Do you remember that scene?
Yes.
Yeah, like here's the thing: like, if you watch that scene very subtly, or if you watch it very closely, he was saying all that shit, typical kind of misogynistic stuff. But then, like, she was kind of smirking. She was kind of like holding in her laughter, and he was kind of smirking. So it almost seemed like fake in the sense of he knows he was saying over the top fuck shit. I'm not saying he doesn't believe it, but he was saying over the top fuck shit for the sake of the show, and they're both kind of laughing about it. I don't know if you caught that.
No, I did catch it. I did because you're right. The seriousness of the conversation and then the way that they were interacting, it didn't match. I
hmm
did catch it, and that if anything, Adnan is a actor model in his region, and his goal is to be an actor and model here.
hmm
So I think what we're watching is whatever they concocted to be a fun, interesting storyline, which is
hmm
funny because not either of those. I actually think it's the stupidest storyline I've ever encountered. But I think in their tiny little basic minds, they thought that this is what was going to launch them, into stardom. which is basically they just took a story that we've seen 50 million times and
Hmm.
they kept, they just reiterated the exact same story. We've seen this a million times.
Yeah, like when Tiger Lily was like, "Hey, I want you to wear a T-shirt when you go swimming," you could just tell it was like a bullshit argument.
Well, right. He's not going to wear a t-shirt when he goes swimming. And he literally said it. He's like, I'm not doing that. I'm just sick of having this conversation. And,
Hmm.
I'm really I'm over them in general. Like, I'm
Hmm.
over her little excuse where she's like, I don't know a lot about your religion. And I'm like, well, Google it, bitch. I'm like, I'm so sick of you saying that. Like, I just don't know. Like, how many times can you
Hmm.
just not know? Right?
Okay.
Like, if you get over by the police for speeding and you're like, well, I just didn't know the speed limit. Do you think the police gives a damn that you didn't look? And like, why won't you just look it up and figure it out on your own? Why do you keep using the excuse that you don't know?
Well, I know you're sick of the whole cliche like Muslim man storyline, and that's
Yeah,
trying to oppress his new wife. Right. I know
yeah.
you're sick of that. So, but then what I feel the same way toward is like which is the new guy, which is like to me, it's like the cliche Italian American family on television, and they're over the top, and they have their whatever, all the Italian foods and their family and all shit. Like I feel like I see that on TV more than I see like the Muslim cliche guy. How do you feel?
No, you're 100% right. Okay, so I'm watching a show right now called I Love a Mama's Boy. And there is a guy on that show. His name is Josh, and he's like, no, wait, I'm thinking of the wrong person. There's a guy on the show, and he has like an Italian family. And you're 100% right. When we watch, no, it's her. Her name is Janelle, and her family is Italian. And we watched the scene, and it was almost identical to what we saw tonight. They were in a big house. There was a whole bunch of women cooking. There was men grilling. They were all drinking, and they were all talking, in their Jersey accents. So no, I think that it's very stereotypical, and I think it rings back to when the Jersey Shore
Mhm.
blew up, and they've really stereotyped anyone from New Jersey. Like everybody has to fall into this category. So if you go on a show, they're like, well, we have to film a scene because look, this guy's from West Palm Beach, Florida. They made him fly all the way to New Jersey to get this scene
Mhm.
because there's a reason why we needed to go to New Jersey to meet his family. We don't typically meet the person's family on the first episode, but they needed to get that stereotypical New Jersey scene
Mhm.
in to storyline because that was what the story is about. And you're right, they have made this a cliche. It's literally a cliche.
Mhm. Yeah, that's a good. That's a you caught that because the average viewer wouldn't realize like, oh yeah, he lives in Florida, but then they had him go to Jersey to film his intro scene.
Yeah, that was so unnecessary. Like we know that when we were watching Gino and Jasmine, we Gino's family didn't show up to his house to film with him. We didn't meet his family until damn near a whole season in. Like there
Mhm.
was no reason why they would have to make him fly across the world to film a 20-minute or a 2-minute scene, but they needed everyone to see that he was from Jersey. And they did this shit. There was another show too. I can't remember the name of it. It had to do with this girl who was a nail tech. Oh
Mhm.
man, I can't remember. It
Well,
was on
well,
TL.
well. On the other way, you have was it Joanne or something?
Yeah, 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 Joanne. So yeah, they focus a lot on her mom and her aunt, right?
Yeah.
And her being I think that they've really stereotyped Jersey people, and it's kind of unfair. It's like, but because I get being from a different or a certain region is one thing, but it's not your full identity. And I
Hmm.
feel like when you're on a TLC show, you have to have the accent. Your family has to be close. They have to be loud. They have to disagree with what you're doing. Like it's a full stereotype.
Yeah. So let me. So I mean, what do you think is the whole deal with him not see? They couldn't get a hold of him in the previews.
So this is crazy, right? Because this is the first time that we've experienced a person to go missing
Hmm.
on the show. Because I was like, damn, has this happened before? Did someone literally disappear? And I was like, I can't think of anyone that disappeared. I know with Tyree, he was getting ready to go, to fly over there, and then we found out from the producers that it wasn't really a girl. I was like, this is even more different because they're literally at his house the day of the flight, and he's not there. Well, I mean, I can't say he's not there. He's not answering the door, but it brought me back to the scene prior where he was at the drugstore and he's trying to buy condoms and she was like, well, I don't want to have sex until I get to America. And they haven't he hasn't even proposed. They're not engaged. They don't have a K1 visa process in in processing. I think that would have been a huge red flag for me. So I was like, I wonder if he realized then that she was using him for a green card. Because
Hmm.
withholding sex until you get your green card or until you get to the US, that's pretty obvious, right? Like I'm pretty sure that's obvious that the person is using you for a green card.
Hmm. Well, like what I found interesting was they showed her. Well, first of all, remind me the woman's name again.
Magna.
Oh yeah, Magna. Okay.
Yeah, it's. I know. I had the worst possible time trying to pronounce that. I was just like, what are we trying to say here?
How do you spell it?
Magna.
Okay, Magna. Okay, I got it. No, but there was a scene that showed Magna at the airport waiting for him. So I feel like if he wasn't on the way, they wouldn't have had a camera crew waiting in the airport with her. So I feel like this is just like a trick editing where like it really isn't a big deal and he's gone the way one way or another. That's what
Yeah,
I
I
feel.
saw that. You're right. They wouldn't have flown all the way to her if he was never going to get to her. You're 100% right.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking maybe he took an earlier flight or
Hmm.
he, like, I don't know what the
Yeah.
deal is. The fact that he wouldn't answer the phone also brought me to maybe he's on a flight. Like maybe he took an earlier flight and he can't answer. He's in the air. I don't know. The whole, it was just really interesting. I've never seen anything like that
Hmm.
happen on the go like missing on the show. Like you don't actually pick up. They can't find you. So I'm interested in that, and it also it rings new to me or true to me that he's popping up on episode 11.
Hmm.
So making me think that there's not a lot to this story. So
Yeah.
that made also maybe he really did chicken out and he's not actually gonna go. Because I was like, episode 11 is pretty late to bring somebody into a season. Like we're really, really dialed into this season. We're deep into story. Hell, we just watched Chitty and Renee break up, and we're
Yeah.
just like we watched them meet, fight, fight more, and break up, and now we're just meeting this guy. So it makes me wonder how much footage they actually have.
Yeah, but I feel like something interesting has to happen with the storyline. Otherwise, if he just would have flaked out, they would just cut it and not included it. Right.
Well, yeah, that's what I thought too. I was like, well, if nothing came of it, if there was only, them filming at in Florida and in New Jersey, and nothing happened after that, why include it? That was like my first.
Yes. So I feel like something's there's going to be they're going to I think they're going to either way they're going to meet because otherwise it wouldn't be worthy of being in the show. That's how I feel.
Yeah, probably meet. I mean, I don't think it's gonna go anywhere. I think that it's gonna be one of those situations where he gets over there and they realize they're not supposed to be together. I mean, the red flag for me was when she said, well, first of all, she quit her job in preparation to come to the US and they're not even like engaged. They don't have like a K1 visa in progress. They don't have any actual plans to be together. They've never met, they've never had sex. So it's pretty freaking obvious to me that she's using him for a green card. Like it doesn't take a
Hmm.
rocket science to see what's going on because she was a corrections officer. It's a pretty decent job. It's not a safe job, but it's a pretty decent job, right?
Hmm. Speaking of using someone, stuff. Did okay? So now let's jump to Niles and Matilda, and now she finally went mask off, and she's like, "I want you to pay $300 for the food for my little knock ceremony or whatever."
See, this is hard for me because I wanted to believe that Matilda was a decent person, right? And I wanted to believe that she wanted to be with him, but she keeps saying things and doing things that are stirring me wrong in believing her because she said something tonight where she was like, it's just really easy to get money in America. She's like, it's
Mm-hmm.
harder to get money done. And I was like, that's not true. Like there are people who have good educations, good skills, who can't make decent money. Like that's not true. And I think that she's sold on the dream that she can make so much money and be so much more successful in the US. I think Niles is just her ticket. Like
Mm-hmm.
he's her plane ticket, and I think that she's putting up with him because the way that she keeps dropping shit on him, that also makes me feel like, because I was like, he should have known all of the things that he was going to be responsible for paying for before he got there because she knew
Mm-hmm.
this wasn't news to her. She was fully aware that he had to pay for the knocking ceremony. And then made me think even further. I was like, is he actually going to have to pay for the wedding too? Because I was like, the when he goes back, they keep saying you have to have this wedding. They're charging him for the knock-in ceremony. I'm assuming they're charging him for the wedding too. I'm
Mhm.
assuming that he's gonna be paying for everything.
Yeah, like one thing that jumped out to me was when they were all, it was like Matilda, Niles, and then the two friends, like all eating like lunch or something, whatever. And then she was talking about the guests, and she's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna bring like my friends, and I'm gonna invite my classmates, and then if you guys have some friends, you could bring them." So it seemed like she was trying to invite like the half a village or something because she knows Niles is gonna take care of the money part of it.
Well, she was like, I'm inviting friends from middle
Hmm.
school and grade. I was like, oh yeah, this is just this one big block party,
Yeah.
right? I feel like she's just a big ass party. And when you're having a party and you're not responsible for the bill, you invite everybody, you have steak, you
Hmm.
have lobster, and I feel like that's kind of the deal here. I think that's exactly what's going on.
Yeah, basically she's taking advantage of him. So yeah, I think my intuition on her was correct. Though I will say I was surprised at how downtrodden that her mom's house was. I wasn't expecting that.
I mean, we've seen the living conditions. Like I remember when we were watching David and Sheila,
Hmm.
and we saw the house, and actually that house was so dangerous that her mom actually fell and passed away.
Hmm.
It was so. I mean, I expected it. I remember when Ariella went to where did she go? Ethiopia, and we looked at Biniam's conditions. Right, he lived in like a mud hut,
Hmm.
and like dirt floors, and it was terrible. And then he had like all his nice shoes stacked up in the mud, and I was just like, man, these conditions are just insane for me. But I think Americans are always just shocked
Yeah.
at the level of conditions, because even in America, even if you don't have any money, there's like like Section 8, and there's all these programs, and they even have a higher standard of living for people who
Hmm.
don't even have money. Like they wouldn't put you in something like that, and that's free housing. So I think Americans really aren't really aware of how people are really living
Hmm.
in third world countries. Like I've been watching the show for a while, and I've been seeing a lot of like mud huts,
Hmm.
and these houses that don't have windows. And I'm just like, how do you control mosquitoes and bugs and spiders? It's really crazy, because in America, if somebody showed us a house like that, nobody would move into a house like that.
Hmm.
It's they would tear it down. So yeah, I think that Niles was really mean and insensitive, though, the way that he described it, because he was like, human beings shouldn't live like this. And I was like, so wait, you saying she ain't a human being?
Yeah.
Like, because she, not only does she live like this, she's been living like this her whole life. So you got to be a little careful, with how you describe, the way people are living. This is her actual life.
Yeah. He said it was like he said this is like worse than a jail cell or something.
Well, yeah, that's pretty insensitive, right?
Hmm.
Because for people that are living that way, they don't see the conditions the way you see the conditions. They don't know any different, right?
Yeah.
So they don't realize that they're living in conditions that are below human.
Hmm.
What do you call it? Like
Hmm.
humanized conditions.
True.
So
Well,
yeah, I think that
go ahead.
no. I just think he has to be a little more sensitive to how he talks to people and describes where they live.
Well,
You got to be, don't just go to somebody's house and say, damn, your house is dirty, or damn, your house is ugly, or damn, your house is raggedy. You got to be a little more sensitive to the fact that everybody can't control the conditions. That's based on income.
were you impressed with like Matilda's ability to carry the thing on her head?
Hell yeah, I was impressed. That was amazing. I've seen the videos of the native people from different areas doing that. That's very, very impressive. I remember in school we were playing like a game during, I think probably was history class, and we had to balance books on our head just to get an idea of what the people in those countries are doing. And I remember we had to walk from like one side of the classroom to the other, and and try to keep the books on your head. And I just remember taking one step and I dropped them
Hmm.
every single time. Time I see the women doing that, I'm just so impressed with their level of um balance. That's crazy.
True. By the way, let me crowbar in a shout out Is that
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, well, it was from my Instagram story. You saw it, George. But let me shout out Anoush for. I guess she likes. I don't know if she's a mechanic, but she works on cars, which is kind of impressive. And she was like working on her car or truck, and then she's like listening to our podcast. So she posted a photo on Instagram. Check it out on my Instagram stories. So she gave us a shout out, and I shared the story. So thank you to Anoush for listening to us.
I saw that. Thank you, Anush. I appreciate it. And also, I need some work done on my car, so DM me. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
But she said, well, I said if I was over in Canada and I needed oil change, like I'll go to you. And she's like, yeah, I'll comp it to you for all the as a thank you for all the tea you spill.
Oh, see, that's what I'm talking about. I'd have to be there though. It's too far to drive for an oil change.
Yeah.
But you know what? I've been having car issues lately, and it's like everything is so expensive.
Mhm. True.
So yeah, I'm impressed. Women who can fix a car because I can barely put air in my tire, so I'm so impressed.
True. All right. Speaking of impressive, how were you impressed with Sonny's what's those cricket abilities?
I mean, I don't know if I am or not. I don't even know how you play
Hmm.
cricket. So I that he was good at it because Veah wasn't. I could tell that she wasn't doing what they were doing. But like I don't even know how you play cricket, so I'm assuming he's good.
Yeah.
Like if it was soccer, I know a little bit more about soccer, right? But I guess he was good, right?
Yeah. Did you think his friend Ali was C blocking him and jealous?
I think his friend was jealous. Okay, so I think when Muslim men see other Muslim men with a woman
Hmm.
who doesn't conform to their beliefs, they're jealous. I think that they would love to have a woman with long hair, with no hijab, with tattoos, with a low cut
Hmm.
shirt. I think they absolutely would love that. They just know it's not allowed. So whenever they see a man who's living their dream, they cock
Hmm.
block them.
Yeah.
And I think that's exactly because he was like, well, no, if I have to be with a woman and she has to wear a hijab and she's got to wear a muumuu and she can't be out in public, you got to do it too. And that's kind of how a lot of these religions are. Whenever people are trying to convert you, they just want you to be as miserable as they are, right? They're like,
Mhm.
well, if I can't be happy, and I feel like his friend was definitely trying to make him miserable.
Yeah. Were
Oh, but
oh, go ahead.
my thoughts on Sunny though. I think Sunny was trying to get laid.
Hmm.
I don't think Sunny actually was trying to be in a relationship with Veya because did you see how quickly they were in the shower together? Because you know, being Muslim, you can't have sex until you're married in
Hmm.
any form. And I noticed how they had that conversation, a serious conversation in the car on the way home from cricket about her converting. And he just literally sat there like a deer in headlights and didn't react. But then the second she's naked in the shower, he's naked in the shower with her. In my opinion, I think he wanted to have a fling with an American and he wasn't actually trying to marry anybody. Because if you remember correctly, when she first landed, he had rose petals, candles. He was
Hmm.
trying to get some, he was going right then and there, right when she got there. I
Hmm.
think that that was his goal. He's trying to bang an American and then send her ass back home.
I'm trying to remember the chronology. Was the what happened first, the shower scene or them in the pool together?
Them in the pool together, then the shower.
Okay, then yeah, he was in the pool. He was like a smooth operator because she was like straddling him and stuff.
Yeah, I think that he's trying to get laid, and it's a fantasy of his to be with a non-Muslim American woman.
Hmm.
I think it's a fantasy, a fetish, whatever you want to call it. I don't think he was ever trying to marry her. I think he wanted to get her over there because the second she arrived, he went and got her and brought her straight to the hotel with the rose petals and the candles. He was trying to get it on right then and there.
Hmm.
I don't think it's ever going to be anything serious. I think she's the one who thought it was going to be something serious.
Yeah, were you impressed? Not to objectify, but were you impressed with Veya's body?
I thought Vale looked good. I
Hmm.
thought she looked good.
Yeah.
I mean, she's 28, right? She's pretty young, so I thought she looked good. I think that she wore her swimsuit well.
Hmm.
She looked good.
Yeah, I feel like she
I
looked.
was a little
I feel like she looked
how
better
good.
this episode than the or all the other previous episodes.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you. She looked really good this episode. It was almost like it was a different girl. She
Mm.
was hot. For the her hair looked good. Everything looked good. It all came together for her on this episode.
Yeah, I'm trying to get her to join our podcast, so maybe I'm being a soft touch now.
Oh, I mean, I think she. I mean, I think they're allowed
Yeah.
as long as they're only talking about stuff that already happened.
Yeah.
But I know if got to be really careful if you talk about anything that didn't happen, they get in trouble. So a lot of the cast members they're scared
Hmm.
to go on anything because they haven't been paid yet. I want to make sure everyone's aware. Until the tell-all airs, they will not receive their payment.
Hmm.
So they are very lightly with pissing off the network because they didn't do all this for free.
Hmm.
You know, they're waiting for that big massive check at the end. So they're really scared to do stuff because they know that their check could be held in the balance.
Yeah. And we could save this for Friday, but so the Mexico Singles Resort House show, so you think it's coming out earlier than the summer?
Yes, I do.
Okay. That's good news
Much,
because
much.
we've been hyping that up left and right with the tea spilling.
Yeah, I think it's much, much earlier. And okay, so I don't really want to say too much,
Mhm.
but let's just say it's a resort style show, right?
Yeah.
So I think we're in our resort style show era.
Yeah. True.
If that,
Okay, no, yeah, we could dive into it more on Friday. Um, oh,
yeah,
and then another thing we could dive into more on Friday, but I think we should just touch on it, which is weird. Like, what's the whole deal? This is more of like a rhetorical question because you and I both don't necessarily know the answer, the full story yet. But like, apparently Liz got like hacked today, and it wasn't just limited to like Instagram. Like, it was also her like iMessage or text messages were being hacked too, right?
I know. But what's crazy to me is it seemed like they had access to her entire
Hmm.
phone. Like you said, just iMessage, it was Instagram, and I don't know, maybe any other app that she had. And apparently, you were talking to the hacker,
You know,
and they were posing as her.
Well, are you referring in terms of in terms of text messages? Are you talking about right now? Yeah, no, it
Yeah,
was weird. It was
you
weird
were.
because you know what it was. You know what it was like. It was like it was almost because it was yeah. Because but I feel like I was texting Liz, but then like I would be texting Liz, but then like after it, the hacker was texting too from like. So I was getting like two people were texting me. It was like from the same number. It was like Liz was texting me, and then the hacker was texting me at the same time or something. That's what it felt like.
Oh, so you think that texts were going to Liz and the
Yeah, because
hacker?
like
So like
well, let me.
mirroring her.
Yeah, yeah. So like, let me just pull something up real quick. It's like because Liz was saying, let me just see what I could. This is we're doing this on the fly. Hold on. Because Liz was assuming this is Liz, but it was she basically texted like I didn't comment any on any of your posts today, and then I sent her a screenshot, and she's like, that's not me. And then blah blah blah. But then at the end of like the last two texts I have that are like totally random, well basically I said like, so was this you? And then she said it's not me, but then I got the last two texts I currently have say flavor love, love me forever, tell me you love me. and then there was this like group text that happened with like so also another angle of it was because it's not cool to like share people's phone numbers without, you know what I mean, so like consent. So like I got a group text where it was like from Liz and then another number, and I didn't know what the other number was. So that other person now has my number. And then long story long, I texted George. I was like, do you know who this number is? And it ended up being that the other number that it wasn't in my phone was Kimberly. So that I'm assuming, I don't know if that was Liz or the hacker, but all of a sudden I got a group text with from Liz and Kimberly. So that was kind of weird because you don't normally just like add people's numbers without, like you have to tell me that you're going to give my number to that person, and that person has to know that vice versa. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, that whole thing was crazy. I remember texting and I told her, I was like, "What are you doing? What's going on? Your number is in my group chat." And she was like, "The fuck?" And I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "What in the hell is going on?" And she's like, "I literally have no idea what's going
Mm.
on." So it was a whole thing, and I didn't know that like hackers were able to get like mirror your phone, like because it
Mm.
seemed like whatever Liz was like, she was able to text you, but the hacker was also able to text you. Like it's like they could see her
Yeah,
screen.
I'm pretty sure the way that's going down was I'm assuming they like got the login. They fished the login to her like iCloud.com account, which is like her Apple account. I'm assuming that's how they got into her iCloud account. So that's how you're able to check, like send and check iMessages. I'm assuming.
That is so scary. Like the thought of someone doing that scares me. Like I don't know. That's
Yeah, and then
crazy.
there's
And
real quick. So there was a group check set up with me and Kimberly and Liz, whatever. And then aside from that, not like the letter K, but like spelled out KAY, right? So I don't want to say like KKK, but like so. Then the last text, which I'm assuming is from the hacker, it was from this group chat with me and Kimberly. It says KAY 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 like KKK, which is like we. That's a weird text to send too.
yeah, the word verbiage, it sounded like someone from like Africa, right? Like I was getting that vibe
Mm-hmm.
because Kim sent me screenshots of the what they were saying to her, and it was just it sounded like somebody from another country,
Mm-hmm.
which makes sense. A lot of hackers, but that whole thing is just scary though because I don't even know because Liz doesn't know what she did to get hacked, and that's scary because she probably didn't do anything like strange, and now somebody has access to literally her whole life. So that's like terrifying.
Yeah, that's weird. Yeah, I know there's all sorts of weird shit that happens to like famous internet people where like people they could like so what happens is they call like AT&T or your phone provider and then they basically like social engineer it so they convince the operator that you're Liz or whatever, and then they get it. It's almost like a social engineered SIM swap type of situation where it's like they get it to make their phone have your number, so they move that number to their phone that they're holding in their hand, and all of a sudden they have access to like that phone number. So it's like that's some shit that happens too. We don't need to get too far into it, but yeah.
Yeah, it's scary. The whole idea of it scares me. It's like somebody getting into my phone and then having all my phone numbers and stuff. That's just it gives me anxiety just thinking about it.
True. Yeah, we shouldn't give people ideas. um
Yeah, please don't. I it gives me anxiety. I don't even know how
Yeah,
I
it's
can.
it's dangerous too because like if anybody asks me, because the hackers they always do is like they'll message people's. That's how it works. Like in the Instagram DMs, they'll be like, "Hey, can you do me a favor?" And then it's like, and you're like, "Yeah, sure." Blah blah. But that's actually that trick is to get access to your account, so they have you click on a link or whatever, and they're like, "Read me your two-factor authentication code," and then really it's how they get into your account. But anyway, like, but the point I was gonna make is like Liz. So if anyone asks me for a favor, 9 out of 10 times the answer is no because I don't want to be fucked with. But like Liz will be the one person who's like, oh, she asked me for a favor. I'll be like, yeah, I'll try to do whatever you need. So imagine a hacker being under Liz's account.
Yeah, you're probably right. And you know what? It's funny because Liz, I don't want to like say anything mean, but I feel like she might be one person to
Hmm.
fall for like because I feel like she's a nice person, and if somebody asks her something like to do something for them, she might actually fall for it because she's actually a decent person. Like for me, if somebody's like, "Hey, can you
Hmm.
click this?" and then I'm like, "No, fuck." Like I don't care. Like
Hmm.
I'm the meanest. Like when I'm at the grocery store and they're like, "Hey, do you want to give $1?" and I'm like, "F them kids." No, like I'm no. Like
Hmm.
you never gonna get me, and you're never gonna get me.
Yeah. True. Yeah, that always happens where it's like, well, if somebody's Instagram gets hacked, and then it's like, hey, can you do me a favor? And you're like, yeah, and then like click this link and read me the code that it gives you. But then a lot of times that person that I'm friends with on Instagram, I'm also friends with them like on Twitter. So then I'll find them on Twitter. I'm like, hey, is that you like messaging me? And they're like, no, I just know my Instagram got hacked. I'm like, okay, I'm about to block your fucking Instagram, then. Fuck this shit.
Well, yeah. See, I am terrified of that. So at some point, if anybody asks me, I've actually had it happen where they're like, "Hey, I'm gonna send you a code or something," and then I'm like, "Nah, f you, get out of my DMs. I'm not helping you." Even if it's
Mhm.
true, I'm not falling for it. It's
Yeah. All right. I think we hit most of our topics. The only other thing I was going to add is like, it was a thing I said about Joe. I was like, if he's like a big shot realtor, why doesn't he have like an iPhone Pro and he's on an iPhone non Pro?
see, I don't know how like the house that they showed him swimming at. He never said that was his
Hmm.
house, and then the house up to sell obviously was nice, but it's West Palm Beach. That's where all the people go to retire in Florida. So yeah, I don't know because we saw his actual apartment. It wasn't either of those
Mm.
places. It was like, a pretty normal apartment we saw because he wouldn't open the door. So I don't know. I think a lot of people are using these shows. I've seen it a lot actually lately. People are using these shows to boost a fake lifestyle. Like I watched one season of another show where this family were on the show and they literally filmed the entire season from an
Mm.
Airbnb, like nice Airbnb, and come to find out they live in like the hood. So it's like people have been using these shows and they get like fake homes or fake Airbnbs or apartments or mansions, whatever you want to call it, and they want to boost these fake lifestyles. So it's like I don't know if he's like a hot shot real estate agent. I mean, in West Palm Beach, if you sell a house there, you're gonna get a decent
Mm.
commission, but I don't think that he's like this rich ass dude that he has like this nice swimming pool in the backyard. Like they never said whose house that was. I'm assuming it was an Airbnb because that's just what people are doing now. It
Oh,
started with
you
mahogany.
took the
Remember
words out
back
of my mouth.
it started with mahogany. Like everybody used to use their own houses until mahogany put the thought in everybody's
Mm.
mind that you don't have to bring these people to your house. You can rent something and let them film so no one knows where you are. And she didn't want Ben to know where she lived at the moment. So she used that Airbnb. And I feel like she opened Pandora's box. Now that's everybody's go to. They rent this nice ass
Mm.
Airbnb and want everyone in the world to believe. And you actually, I see it a lot on Love After
Mm.
Lockup. There's a lot of people on Love After Lockup who have these nice, nice, nice houses. Completely false. They're not their houses. It's an
Mm.
Airbnb.
But like, who on Love After Lockup can you do you think?
See, I thought that the girl that's pregnant and her boyfriend was a
Oh,
rapper, but now he's a
they're
warehouse
one
worker.
in Vegas now.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that house. Well, they punched a hole in the wall, so they're not going to get their
Mm.
deposit back. But I'm pretty sure it's not their house. I mean, I don't
Mm.
know, but I'm pretty sure. Oh, remember, what was her name? It was Marcelino,
Oh,
and
I know you're talking about the
what was
poker
her?
player guy.
Yeah, when they lived in Vegas, that wasn't their house
Yeah.
either. But they're not together anymore, and they're in Florida now, and they are living, I think, in St. Cloud. But that house in Vegas, that was an Airbnb
Okay.
too. Um, and then what's the girl's name? Um, she was the one that owned the tax
Oh,
business. The
yeah.
tax they put on the show that it was a rental and the people never paid the mortgage or whatever. But I don't think that's true. I think it was an Airbnb
Yeah.
too.
Um, no,
But
but
I
yeah,
keep seeing
Mahogany
her.
was like the Neil Armstrong of Airbnbs, though.
Yeah, she was the first. She was the first. She was the pioneer. She was the trendsetter. Nobody even it never crossed anyone's
Mm.
mind because if you think back, we saw people filming in houses that they probably shouldn't have filmed in. They were raggedy. They should have used the Airbnb, but it never even crossed
Mm.
their mind that they could get away with it until Mahogany opened the damn box. And now every time I see people's house on these shows, I'm like looking and I'm like first thing I do is I look for pictures on the wall of them or their family or their kids or whatever. That's a dead giveaway. Airbnbs will have like wall art, but like of a plant or like a waterfall or if you live by me, a Mickey Mouse. So I look for like identifiable things on the wall and if or in the kitchen. Because one thing I noticed about Airbnbs, it doesn't have anything like spices or anything that a normal human being would use to cook with. It's not there. Nothing will be on the counter. So it's easy for me to spot, but a lot of people can't
Yeah,
figure it out.
the one that jumped out at me was it was when like Jasmine and Gino went to like Miami and they met with like a friend, that guy, and they were in this like fancy ass house. That was definitely like Airbnb. Do you remember that? And there's like a pool in the backyard or something.
Yeah. Oh, you mean Jasmine's Panama friend that was
Yeah,
living in
yeah.
Miami? That 190% of Airbnb. It didn't have one identifiable item in that entire place that linked it to anyone. I've stayed in enough Airbnbs to know exactly what they look
Hmm.
like. Right? They're the most generic, um, neutral colored
Hmm.
places in the world, and at least if you're gonna film in one, bring some pictures from home and try to make it look like you
Hmm.
live there. They
I
don't even
mean, and
try.
then I guess even though this is like obvious, but like the tell all house was like a giant Airbnb.
Well, yeah, that was 100% an Airbnb, and or it could be a house that they use to film TV shows
Mhm.
in. Because I've noticed a lot of houses that they use to film these like reality shows where they put all the celebrities together. I've noticed that too. Like in those houses, they usually are in LA though, not in New Jersey, which I thought was weird. But they usually those houses are literally just used for that for TV shows. No one ever
Yeah.
lives in them. It's just for filming TV.
True. All right. Any other things you want to touch on before we end it?
We talked about that. We talked about Tiger Puff, Niles. I think we're good. Yeah. Oh yeah, we talked
Oh,
about
here's like a
Veah.
it's not a B90 thing, but I was gonna tweet about it. But like if you notice the Last Resort 2, that little teaser preview that airs on the show, there's like a scene where it's like Gino's getting like a physical altercation and the security has to hold him back. I don't know if you caught that. It was
Wait,
very
what?
it was
Start over.
very subtle. Like, okay, hold on, I could post the photo in the chat of the Twitter space. But on the okay, so there's the Last Resort 2 previews in between the commercials.
Yeah. Well, no. You know what? I watched it on TLC Go, so I
Okay,
didn't
so
get
you
the.
didn't see the little preview, but like they have those like little teaser previews that are like 10 seconds long or something. And then they're the Last Resort 2 preview. But it's like one of those things where it's like you literally have like it's like a span of like 2 seconds of little things that happen. So anyway, there's a scene. I'm gonna post a picture right now in the chat of the Twitter space. But there's a scene where Gino is being held back by security because he's about to fight somebody. Like not seriously, but he's gonna like he was like a physical altercation though. So I'm gonna post a photo. Hold on. I was wondering if you saw it.
No. See, that's not what I would expect from Gino. He's like the most non-confrontational person. So that's not even what I would even expect from him.
Yeah. I had to like pause it at the perfect time to get a photo, but I couldn't even get a good photo. That's why I didn't really like post it. But I just posted like a screenshot in the chat, the Twitter space chat. See if you could find it. Uh,
All right. Let's look.
Here, I could retweet myself too. If that'll make it pop up. I don't know.
It should be here. Hold on. No. Yeah, I see it. Oh yeah, I see it. I see it.
Yeah, he's being like,
He
yeah, he
looks
looks
pissed.
pissed and he's being held back by security or something.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I would love to see that. I would love to see Gino go after anybody. I didn't know he had it in him. Honestly, I didn't know he had it in him. I didn't know that this would be a world that we would see Gino trying to fight somebody. He's
Yeah,
in the world that I would
I just wonder
think.
who he's fighting with.
Me too. I was going through my mind of the cast members. So I was like, Ariella and Biniam, Florian is there, Rob is there. I was like, who pissed off Gino to the point where you want to punch them? That was my first thought. I was like, well, who did it?
It's
Who done
probably
it?
like somebody that went to the defense of Jasmine and it pissed him off, maybe.
Oh, so maybe. Oh, okay, yeah, I see. So they were having a session, and they took
Mhm.
Jasmine's side and say that Gino's
Yeah.
ass gets pissed. I can see that. Yeah, because that's kind of how therapy works. When you go to couples therapy, somebody's side gets taken, and then every on the other side, everyone's pissed off. And I totally get that because dealing with Jasmine, obviously Gino feels like
Mhm.
he's right. So, but with a bunch of other women, the women take each other's side, and the men take each other's side. So y'all are kind of against each
Mhm.
other.
Yeah. So anyway, we could talk about that more on Friday or whatever. But yeah, I think we hit all of our topics.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think we hit all the topics, and tomorrow is the finale of The Other Way. So it's the very last episode, and then next week we're going into. After that, we're going to the tell-all, and there's only two of them, right? Because it says on December 2nd we're going straight into the last resort. So that means that would only leave
Oh
two
yeah.
weeks
Yeah,
for
because
tell-all. So we're back to normal amount of tell-alls. No more 6 and 7 parts. We're back to the normal amount, which I'm
yeah,
happy
no,
with.
that's good because when they drag it out, like that, like kind of like waters it down.
Well, nobody's invited anyway, so they don't have to. They don't really need all that. Renee's not invited. Statler's not invited, so they don't really need a whole
Mm.
lot of time. and it's gonna be pretty easy to get closure on what's her name, Vanja and Boja. Like, because we know what happened. We know that he's got a girlfriend or whatever. So it's not even gonna be that serious. So this might actually be a boring ass tell all. Like, I'm just gonna be real up front. It might actually
Well, I
be
mean,
boring.
well, Vanja she's on B90, right?
Is he? Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. You're right. You're right. She's on
And
B90.
Renee
She's
is
on
on
B90.
B90. So
Renee. Oh, so wait, who's
the
the
other white people is like
on the other way?
Josh, and then Banana Girl, Crier, the girl crying Banana Girl, James, Josh,
So wait, is everybody?
Tata, Dempsey, Styler.
Oh, okay, so just Dempsey and Statler. So just Statler's disinvited. Everybody else will be
Yeah.
there, right? Oh, okay, it might be all right because we already know Statler's side. She's told everybody everything, so we already know what she would have said anyway.
Yeah. I want to see no offense to Josh, but I want to see like Josh cry for entertainment purposes.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I want to see him cry, and I want to see where he's really at because he's been trying to convince people he's still in China, and I'm not
Mm-hmm.
buying it. I'm not buying it. I don't believe it. The times that he's active online, it doesn't
Mm-hmm.
align with China. Like, I'm not falling for it. So, and I want to see if they're still together because I have a feeling that they're not together anymore. Because the way he was posting stuff that got
Mm-hmm.
leaked about that made it seem like they are definitely not together anymore.
Yeah, like Lily, the way Lily is posting on social media makes it seem like she's single.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm pretty sure that's what's going down. I think that they broke up. He's
Mm-hmm.
back here, um, and they're just keeping up
You know
appearances.
what's a good theory is like the because he kind of had a weird like 2 week like social media hiatus. So I feel like maybe that's when he like moved back here, that little social media hiatus.
Yeah, yeah, I remember that he disappeared for 2 weeks because I remember we brought it up in the
Mm.
space, and because I was like, "Is he alive? Is he good?" He like disappeared because I sent him a message. He never wrote anything, and I think he wrote me a couple days ago and was like, "Hey, I hope you're good. I needed to take some time off from the negativity and hate," is what he told me, and I was just like, "Huh." Is that what it really was? Like, is that what it really was, or were you like moving and you had a bunch of stuff to do and you just didn't have time? So yeah, I'm interested in knowing, what's good, what's going on with them because Lily and Josh was the one relationship this season that I never
Hmm.
understood. So I really want to see how they. I literally never understood. He didn't want to touch her. He didn't want to have sex with her. Vivian hated him. Like, I just didn't understand the relationship. It didn't make sense to me.
Yeah, I feel like yeah there. I feel like there's no, again, no offense to like Josh because he's like friendly with us on Twitter, but so I'm not trying to like badmouth him. But having said that, I feel like there's like a weird dark space there that we haven't fully uncovered.
Yeah, I do too. I definitely think that. And a lot of people keep saying that. They say that there's something
Hmm.
about Josh, right? When they post and they see his little recaps on TikTok, everyone's like, I feel like there's something up with that dude, right? So I feel like hopefully we'll get a better look into that on the tell all. He does act
Hmm.
super fake.
Well, yeah. What's his
Like,
Captain Picard always says he's like an actor or something.
yeah, she does. She stood by that from day one. She said that he's literally an actor and this is all a storyline. And he does act like that. I can see that. Nothing is real to him. Nothing is
Hmm.
serious. Like the way he does
Hmm.
those little recaps, I vibe. I
You
definitely
get the
do.
what vibe?
I
Yeah,
get
yeah.
that fake vibe.
Yeah,
I
no,
get,
when he does, if I would give him advice, I would say just stop doing those TikTok videos because they make him come across like inhuman.
yeah, it does. It almost sounds like he's reading like a
Hmm.
script. It's very
Yeah.
robotic and it look like um an actor. It does. So you're right. Don't do those videos. You don't have to make a explanation after every episode to explain yourself. Like, you don't have to do that. It's not
Yeah,
necessary.
it's kind of like forced and it's very like defensive and it's like unnatural.
Yeah, it is. It's fake. It's
Hmm.
strange, and none of the cast members feel the need. Like, people are gonna feel the way they feel about you regardless, whether you explain it or not. Explanations do not change feelings. Like, so if people don't like
Hmm.
what you're doing, You can explain it to them 50 different ways, they're still gonna not like it.
Though I will say, when he was on our Twitter space slash podcast, he was. I feel like he was good though. He was less he was more real here.
Yeah, he sounded like he was talking like a normal person. He wasn't reading
Hmm.
a script. He sounded questions like he was really giving an answer that he thought about. When he does those videos, it does. Or maybe he does. Back when I first started doing podcasts, I used to have 10 pages
Hmm.
of notes, and I literally a script back in the day when I first started. So like maybe he is. Maybe he gets nervous when he's recording. He has to have everything written down. I used to do that back in the day. Especially back in radio, I had to have like my notes, just in case I screwed up, and as time went on, I got fine and better and good at it, and I didn't need it. But in the beginning, I would be scared, depending on who is sitting across from me. Doing an interview, it can be nerve wracking if that person is
Hmm.
important.
True. All right. Well, I think that concludes this episode of 90 Day Fiance Fridays on a Sunday.
On a
Yeah, and shout out
Sunday.
to Hannah, who's in here, who is like the F Mary Kill queen. She's the one that makes a lot of the F Mary Kill memes I post.
Oh, shout out to Hannah. Thanks,
You
Hannah.
know,
We need
she's
more. We
okay.
need
In
more.
her defense, she sent me a tons more, but I just want to like space them out, because if I take my illustrious Instagram page and turn it into like 10 F Mary Kill posts in a row, then it's gonna like it's gonna like ruin it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Things are better in moderation. So yeah, we can skip F Mary Kill 1 week and then do like only fan
Yeah.
captions. So yeah, we gotta do it and space it out. Because the more you do stuff, the quicker people get tired of it. So
Yeah, I
yeah, I
want to
get it.
space it between, like, it's good to have like your T posts, your live tweet memes, your this, that, and other, and then an F Mary Kill post. But if I did like four F Mary Kill posts on Instagram in a row, it's like too much.
Yeah, I
True.
get too much of a can
Yeah.
be too much. I get it.
True. Well, all right. Thanks everyone for listening, and I'll have this episode up tomorrow since it's Veterans Day, and I'll have unlimited time.
Yeah, it's the holiday. Yeah, yeah. So make sure if you listen to the replay, if y'all weren't listening tonight, listen on
Mhm.
Spotify and Apple
Yeah.
Music, please, and take a picture where you're listening so
Yeah,
we can
like
repost it.
yeah, take a picture, rate it 5 stars, and also if you want to see a good example of someone that took a picture, go to like my Instagram stories now and go to like the newest Instagram, or the newest slash oldest. Depends how you look at it. Instagram story posts, and then so we mentioned it earlier tonight, but a fan, she's like I don't know if she's a mechanic, but she works on cars, and she took a really cool photo of like in her garage with holding her cell phone listening to our podcast. So if you send us a cool picture like that, or if you listen to it in the car, send it to me, and then we'll share it and we'll give you credit for it.
Absolutely,
True.
absolutely. All right, everybody, have a wonderful. Wait, it's what is it?
Yeah,
Veterans
Veterans
Day,
Day.
right? Veterans Day,
Yep.
and we'll talk to y'all tomorrow. Don't forget the other way. The finale is
True.
on.
And
Don't forget.
we'll see y'all Friday.
Yes, Friday for 9 Day Fiance Fridays
True
on
that. All right.
Friday.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.